What would you say has been your biggest failure in your first term so far?
Ooh, that's a hard question.
You are listening to the East Texas Banner right here at easttexasbanner.com. We've got the privilege today of sitting down with County Judge in Newton, Ronnie Cochran. Ronnie, I appreciate you taking time with us.
Thank you, Jay.
So, looks like from what I see around social media posts and everything, you're running again.
Yes, I'm gonna run. I announced yesterday that I'm seeking election for another term.
Okay.
So
So
a few more things we'd like to get finished. So
yeah. So they didn't beat up on you too bad in the first term.
I actually told my sister one day, I actually paid for this abuse. It gets rough sometimes, but over and all, as long as I feel I can make a difference and help people,
sure,
I'm for it.
You're gonna go for it. So, tell us what do you feel like stands out over your first term that kind of caught you off guard, if you're looking back?
I tell you what really caught me off guard was the mental health issues that I had no idea. I've always seen a little bit, we all see a little, but the mental health issues with population, and there's not a lot to do to help them.
Really?
The state won't help you, not a bunch. We contract with the Burke Center, and their hands are pretty well tied. Some of them it's like a revolving door.
Sure.
They get arrested, they take them in, they put them on their medicine, and hey, in 14 days they're good. They ship them back out on the streets, and there's nobody there to supervise. They don't take their medicines, they go right back into the downward spiral, and it's just like a revolving door for these people.
Yeah.
There's no long-term care to help them.
Was the county in talks with potentially bringing a group over here at one point?
Well, basically what we're in talks about is, mental health officers with the sheriff department.
Okay.
And they would work hand in hand with, the Burke Center, to where, that's the officer's main role. He, you know who your mental health patients are.
Sure.
And you make contact with them weekly. Go out, check on them, make sure you're taking your medicines.
Yeah.
And it's a program that's working well in other counties. So we're looking at modeling that in Newton County too.
So if that's the thing that caught you off guard the most, then what do you feel like was one of the biggest challenges outside of the mental health issue? What do you feel like was one of the biggest challenges for you stepping into your role as judge?
The biggest challenge was running a county government on the limited funds that we had. Providing the services, trying to keep the people happy, just basic services, on the limited funding that the county has.
Right.
So that was the biggest challenge. Budget into where, your people's tax dollars are spent wisely, and they get something out of it.
Do you feel like you guys have been able to do that during your term?
I feel like we got a pretty good handle on it.
Okay. What do you say to people who say that Ronnie Cochran is too nice of a guy to be a judge?
Well, I can't tell you what I'd really like to know. Hey, that's me. That's my personality.
Sure.
You get more flies with honey than you do vinegar.
Yeah. So what do you feel like has been the biggest achievement of this first term for you?
I feel like one of the biggest achievements is, getting a handle on the spending. And, one of the biggest achievements is the ambulance service, that creation of ESD number 6.
Okay.
That's one thing. Newton County didn't have ambulance service, so it's one of the campaign's promises that I was working on, and we finally got it through fulfillment. So in January, we should have ambulance service in Newton County.
Very cool. Now, how will that be staged out? Because I know Arcadia they have been here for a little while.
Well, Allegiance Ambulance is under contract in Jasper.
Okay.
And, Newton County didn't have any contract. So if the contracted ambulance in Jasper, there were none available, we didn't get an ambulance.
Gotcha.
Until they had the required amount of ambulance to stay inside Jasper.
Sure.
To be able to send one. So the way it's going to work now, the ESD6 is going to own the ambulances. And they went out for bids with, I think, Acadian and Allegiance.
Okay.
Allegiance won out on the bid to operate, for right now, 2 ambulances.
Okay.
ESD6 will own them. The ambulances will be stationed for right now in Burkeville. And when the second ambulance becomes available, we'll be stationed in Trout Creek.
Okay.
For Burkeville, you're 15 minutes from Newton to Toledo Bend, Trout Creek.
Kind of centralized.
Yeah, kind of centralized where they can respond the quickest.
How far is Trout Creek from Deweyville? That's still a pretty good hike.
Still a pretty good ways, but right now Deweyville is covered by Acadian ambulance out of Orange.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Yes, so Deweyville's always had fairly decent ambulance services where the rest of the county had none.
Gotcha. So, what would you say has been your biggest failure in your first term so far?
Ooh, that's a hard question.
Or maybe something that you regret.
I think, getting Newton County, growing Newton County. It's hard to sell Newton County toward these big businesses because, they tell you, hey, you don't have the workforce, you don't have this, or you don't have that. But, you don't have the major highways, you don't have the railroad infrastructure,
right?
To attract a big company. So, and that's been one of the hardest deals to sell for Newton County.
Gotcha.
But like right now, Newton County is the wettest county in the state of Texas. We got more water than anybody else. Everybody wants our water. So we have to work on protecting the water for Newton County residents rather than somebody in Central Texas.
True.
So, and that's one of the big pushes we're working on now is protecting our citizens' rights as far as water.
So going back to your promises when you ran the first time, there was a lot of disruption, a lot of things stirred up about the prior administration having to do with how they managed money, what happened to the money. I know there was talk of forensics audits and that type of deal during that season.
Yes.
Obviously, talking about going and buying a Lamborghini is nice to talk about until you got to go pay that check.
Yes.
And so, but I guess my question would be, compared to now, we've had conversations in the past where you went on record to say that you didn't feel like the prior administration was corrupt.
I still say that. I don't think they were corrupt.
Think it was just a series of bad decisions?
There was, maybe bad decisions. Just there's a few different things. Like in August of 22, the county run completely out of money.
Okay.
They use the American Rescue Plan Act to fund the county, which was basically $2.2 or $2.6 million that should have went to help the citizens of Newton County, but basically they had to pay the county bills and keep the government running. So with basic accounting and just watching what we're doing, we have eliminated that issue. And another thing, there's a thing called debt services, which say the debt services is for bonded debt.
Okay.
And it has to be voted on and backed by the taxpayers of Newton County. Well, at the time, everything that was bought as far as road graders, equipment, pickup trucks, that was all put on debt services. Well, that comes straight off, almost off the top, before the commissioners split, before the county got, so the whole county was paying for the equipment instead of the commissioner's special or the commissioner's budget. So, you know, we eliminated that.
Okay, so let me ask you this, you know, just so I'm seeing this clearly. So debt services comes off the top.
Yes.
Debt services.
Well, here's the way it works. Indigent care comes off the top.
Okay.
Then debt services comes off under indigent care.
Got it.
Then the commissioners get their 15% split. That's split between, then the county gets the remaining.
So the county had been purchasing equipment for the commissioners and for basically to be used in the county out of debt services, which is specifically earmarked money for bonded debt.
Yes.
How is that not illegal?
Well, there was an exception that during Hurricane Laura that allowed counties to do that.
Okay.
So, and
During a hurricane?
Yes, during emergencies.
During emergency periods?
Yeah, and that's the way it was used. So,
did it ever stop after Hurricane Laura?
I don't guess it ever stopped.
Okay.
So,
kind of like the monies from the prison. Right?
Yes. So the debt services, you know, it's for bonded debt. You know, and equipment, vehicles, everything, that's collateral debt. So when I got the clarification from the comptroller's office, you know, that what we were doing or what was being done was wrong, you know, I stopped it.
Okay.
So there has not, you know, once the debt services were paid off, you know, basically the county under debt services is debt free. Now we do have collateral debt as far as sheriff department vehicles.
Sure.
You know, some of the commissioners have equipment that they're paying for.
But those monies are allocated after the bonded debt
Yes.
is paid. So right now, you're saying that the county is currently bond debt free.
Bond debt free, yes.
Okay. Doesn't mean you're debt free, it just means you're
Yes.
bond debt free. You don't have anything in that.
Yes. We
In
don't
that
have
section.
any debt as far as bonded debt.
Okay.
So
what would you like to tell the people out there who feel like you haven't been doing enough?
hey, you know, just fill a day in my shoes and see what actually happens. But, you know, I'd like to say we're working on trying to get the old prison. Not actually working on it. We're working on some proposals. You know, if we could turn it into the phase 1 and part of the phase 2 into a 300 plus bed jail, you know, that's $90 a day the county could get per inmate. So, you know, it'd be a revenue source for the sheriff department, for the county. You know, it could be a plus of 30 to 40 jobs right here in Newton. But and I think with the inmates that we could house, because we still house inmates in Beauregard Parish and Jasper County.
Right.
So, you know, I had a commitment from Tyler County, Sabine County, and Liberty County for 100 beds, and then Harris County has 1,500 inmates spread out between Louisiana and Mississippi. So they would take anything we have available.
Gotcha.
So
y'all are looking at proposals right now?
yes, we're looking at proposals, what it's going to cost to revamp, to get it up to current jail standards, make it into a standalone county jail.
Okay.
That could be a revenue source. You know, it wouldn't be raising the taxes because, you know, just the inmate population would pay the notes.
Gotcha.
So, and that's one thing we don't want to do is raise taxes to get anything going.
Okay. What's your final message to the people of Newton County? Maybe some of them voted for you before, maybe some of them didn't. They've kind of been on the fence. What would you like to say to them?
Hey, for the ones that voted for me, thank you very much. I appreciate your trust and support. And hopefully, the ones that are maybe on the fence, I hope my record and what I've done the past 3 years will prove to you that I will continue doing the same.
Very good. Judge Ronnie Cochran.
All right, thank you, Jay.
When's the election?
The election's in, I think it's May the 4th.
May 4th?
May the 3rd or the 4th.
Okay. All right, very good. Well, I appreciate you taking time with me.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.